Hi everyone, this is Paul here from the Magdalene Centre. Today I'm going to be doing a video about the movement of Chiron into Aries on the 17th of April this year, and highlighting some of the key themes it will will give us a taster of, which will really start to begin from the 18th and 19th of February next year. So Chiron in Aries this is the first time that we've experienced Chiron in the sign of Aries since Chiron was first discovered in 1977. So, as such, in terms of working with Chiron consciously, this is our first opportunity to utilise Chiron in Aries. But I think it's worth looking back at the past 7 years first before looking forward, because Chiron's been in Pisces since about 2011, and during this time we've had all kinds of issues brought to our attention about healing our spiritual selves, where we've been struggling under wounds of disconnection. So we felt disconnected from source, disconnected from our spiritual essence, and as such we may have been engaging in self-destructive behaviours like addictions to alcohol, drugs, certain types of food, or we may have tried to seek that sense of oneness through other people in codependent relationships. But Chiron's passage through Pisces has been an opportunity to highlight that kind of wound to us and give us an opportunity to see what we need to do to heal ourselves, to reconnect with our spiritual essence, rather than trying to create that feeling of oneness through engaging in substances or with people who help to create that change in or altered state of consciousness, but not in a permanent kind of way. They're just temporary fixes, and they just get worse as time goes on because the body builds up a tolerance to these substitutes and requires a greater hit in order to achieve that same feeling. So Chiron in Pisces has been all about that, healing the disconnection and learning to open ourselves up to universal love and learn to see ourselves as worthy of love, to learn to see ourselves as being deserving of love and able to receive it. And through receiving that universal love and letting it fill us up and heal us, we then enable ourselves to become a healing influence towards the people around us, because that energy is not our own energy, it's the universal energy flowing through us, so it can flow through us, fill us up, and then overflow into the environment so it helps the other people around us. Now, with Chiron moving into Aries, Aries is the I am. It's that initial sense of self-identity, and it's the birth of the ego. And with the ego, it's not. We usually think of the ego and think of it as something's bad, but it's not necessarily bad. But it can cause us problems if we don't keep it under control. But the main thing to remember is we need the ego in order to interact with the environment around us. Otherwise, we're no more than ghosts. But with Chiron moving into Aries, this could highlight where we have wounds to the ego, where we struggle to assert ourselves or take action, and we struggle to deal with uncertainty or initiate new beginnings. But the core wound that Chiron may highlight to us is the wound to the sense of self-identity, where we just don't have a real or clear clue as to who we are, or clear idea. So we end up putting all kinds of words after the words I am without realising the potential damage it can cause. So the main thing with the words I am, it's an identity statement, it's an affirmative statement as well. So whatever word we place after the words I am has an immense power within our psyche to either empower us or limit us, depending on the type of word that we're using. So if we're using empowering words, like I am abundant, I am love, I am empowered, then we build ourselves up, we boost our sense of self-esteem, boost our sense of self-identity, and we find it much easier to take action. But if we're saying things like I'm worthless, or I'm stupid, or I'm clumsy, then these kinds of words just reinforce those patterns. So whatever words we put after I am reinforces a pattern within us. So we need to be looking at seeing or listening to ourselves carefully, and whenever we utter the words I am, pay attention to what word automatically comes out after that. because if we don't pay attention to that, then we could be belittling ourselves without realizing, or preventing ourselves from taking assertive action. Now, Chiron, this isn't a permanent move into Aries as such, because Chiron will turn retrograde and will move back into Pisces on the 26th of September, and will remain in Pisces until the 18th or 19th of February, depending on where you are in the world, when Chiron will move fully into Aries and will stay there until 2027. But because Chiron is moving into Aries initially now, this gives us a powerful opportunity to get a taste of what kind of lessons that we need to be learning over the next 8 years from February 2019. So when Chiron's making his initial dipping of his toes into Aries, whatever we feel at this time, whatever we witness in our lives, whatever unfolds, this is an opportunity for us to pay attention to it and start learning the lessons now before the full transit starts. Because the more we gain awareness from the get-go, when we get the first taster of it, the better able we'll be to utilise the transit of Chiron through Aries constructively and learn to heal the ego, so we're not fighting against it, we're working with it. So it's learning to see, where are we fighting against the ego, where's that internal conflict that stops us from doing things, and how do we need to reprogram the ego so that we feel empowered and the ego then works with us rather than against us. And learning to pay attention to what we say after the words I am is a major part of this, because I am affirmations, which are I am statements, these have a major power to reshape our minds, to engage with that neuroplasticity and reprogram our thought patterns and our beliefs so that they're empowered rather than disempowering. But we have to take responsibility for that ourselves. It doesn't just happen. But if we use this period between the 17th of April, when Chiron first moves into Aries, up until the 26th of September, when Chiron will be backtracking into Pisces, this is a good 5 to 6 month window of opportunity for us to observe how our choice of words and how we reference ourselves, i.e. what I am statements we're making, impacts our ability to do things and impacts our sense of self-perception and impacts our understanding of what we're capable of achieving. So obviously I'll do another video in much more depth on Chiron in Aries next year when we have the full-on transit, but it's worth having a video out now so that we know what kind of taste we may get in the next 5 to 6 months when Chiron first dips his toes in Aries but doesn't fully commit because he's not finished with the lessons of Chiron in Pisces. But during this time, if we can pay attention to what words we use or what I am statements we make, and start the reprogramming now, if we're using disempowering words after I am, we give ourselves a major head start for this full-on 8-year transit of Chiron in Aries, when Chiron does not change, will not be moving back and forth between the signs, will be completely within Aries and will not move back into Pisces or will not move forward into Taurus until 2027. So, but as I've said in any other videos, these things, astrology doesn't control us as such, it merely highlights where we need to become more aware of certain issues, or highlights what kind of lessons as a collective undergoing, and how can we make best use of these lessons so that we don't repeat the same mistakes over and again, or the same patterns of behaviour. We bring the power of awareness to it and we transform it. The astrology only serves to help us achieve, or give us a tool for boosting that self-awareness. It doesn't, in and of itself, it won't make us any more aware unless we're engaging in some kind of spiritual practice like mindfulness in order to achieve that greater self-awareness and make sure that our actions are guided by that wisdom, or we're taking actions that are empowered and empowering. So it's, if we empower ourselves through changing our self-talk, we then can become an example for others and help other people to understand it themselves. But we have to take that initiative ourselves and make those changes to our self-talk if we want that to happen. We can't just expect other people to do it for us. If we want things to change, we have to make that change on the inside first before it will reflect outside. So I hope that's a useful guide for Chiron in Aries. The video will also be visible on our website, so I'll post a link down below so you can peruse our website and see what else we have on offer for you to have a look at. And don't forget, on our What's On page we post the different activities that we do. So one of them is mantra meditation, which is a very useful vehicle for achieving that greater self-awareness. So it'd be great to see anyone come along to that. So I hope the initial period of Chiron transiting Aries is a useful guide for you. I hope it brings you that initial awareness so that you're better prepared for when the full-on Chiron in Aries transit starts in 2019. And may the next few months be a period of a lot of learning, a lot of self-empowerment, a lot of growth and greater self-love. Take care, and may you get many blessings from the transit.